destinations in. We're going to add the paranormal channel in on this one today. I have a very interesting video. Got my hands on a very interesting video that I think is 100% real. And it appears to show a humanoid being that was obviously there due to a craft crashing. And this humanoid being, died essentially. There's movements and all sorts of things that lend to the video's credibility. And generally, when people are doing like the hoax videos, you will find like there's editing, like video editing techniques that these hoaxers will use. And in this case, there's none of that. This is so straightforward, as far as the video editing and all that type of thing. So, with all that being said, I'm going to show you what is purported to be a leaked video from a crash. One of, I believe it was 2 or 3 day crashes in that very short window period of time in Roswell, New Mexico. So, hold that thought. Again, just pay attention to how those techniques that we usually see in hoaxes are not being deployed here. And you know what? There is a a still photo that leaked out years ago that shows this body over here. I'm going to point it out to you. In one of these bodies, I've actually seen a still colorized photo of that being before in a totally different leak. This being right here, there's actually a still photo. This being actually was burned up pretty bad. But yeah, man. Again, like you'll notice that none of the techniques that hoaxers use seem to be in place. But here comes the real interesting part. Okay. Yeah, this part. Let's look at it. Just take your time. You'll notice there's things that this being is doing that would be virtually impossible, even with like, even in a hoax scenario. It would cost a lot of money to even recreate this scene right here. Now, this being died. But it was alive for a few hours. And this footage is, it's really good. It's really fucking good. Now, I love how they slowed this down because you can actually see there are multiple humanoids in this area. It looks like maybe 2 to 3 like rooms connected to each other, but there's several humanoids in various stages. Some completely dead and burned, others alive. As you can see, one of them taps this man. But here comes the very good part. Now, just look really closely. Take your time as you look at this. Watch it a couple of times. I don't think it's fake at all. And again, typically in hoax situations, we will see tactics deployed where we never actually get a very clean up, a clean shot on these humanoid beings, right? These so-called aliens. All of the, hoax videos, you'll notice, hey, TRG, you'll notice that they all have a eh, weird, weird tactics like that. But one thing you will never see in a hoax video is a camera on a humanoid being for, 10 plus freaking seconds with absolutely no blurring, no zoomed in techniques, no snow techniques, right? Yeah. Because typically with those hoaxes, that's what you see. Because they can't really show you a close up, right? They can't really go in close. They can't really show you a close up of the so-called aliens or humanoids caught on camera, because they know if you zoom in, you're going to know it's fake as fuck. But again, what's very interesting, right, with this, I've actually heard this story before. It was more than just the one craft. There were two craft that crashed in Roswell in 1947. There was two craft that actually collided in air. Again, you would never get a clear shot like this of a humanoid in a hoax film. Okay. Not to mention, again, the way that this humanoid's moving, including even the head, the big bulbous back part of the head is moving. Again, that would be very difficult. The reason why we're sort of looking at this questioning, is this real or not, is because, again, usually you would never get a nice zoomed in shot like this. But we got fucking lucky, didn't we? Somebody loved us. Somebody loved us, damn it. This being dies. And again, I've heard this story before about how, there was one of these beings that survived that crash. I heard all about the story. Now, there's something else that's really cool that I noticed. There's going to be a right here. There's going to be a moment when the camera is like, the way that you can see the eyes really good. You can actually see that it blinks from side to side. It almost looks like the way a snake eye or reptile eye would look. It almost looks like the eye is up. Yeah, right there. You see that? Look at the eyes. Hold on, I'm gonna go back. Look at when they zoom in on the eyes. You actually see it almost like shut open and close like a reptile's eye would, from side to side. Almost looks like there's something under those lenses. That is a pretty amazing close-up shot. Tell me the last time you watched an alien caught on camera hoax that was so well done. It's pretty, again, the eyes, you can actually kind of see from here at this angle, the pupils very, very long. It's like, almost looks like a slit almost. But again, those are, if those are lenses that being has on over its eyes, I don't know. I've heard that theory. I have heard that some humanoid species wear these lenses over their eyes. And that some abduction or some abduction survivors or whatever that term is have actually described the eyes of some of these beings and how I remember in one story, um, it was relayed that the being reached up and took the black lens out of its eye. And, the abduction survivor saw a very beautiful, almost like ocean blue eye underneath those black lenses. But again, there are different humanoid types. You can clearly see that this particular humanoid looks nothing like the Ebens, right? And we're talking about the Skinny Bob situation, right? I'll show you a photo. Um, that is also another video leak that I think is absolutely 100% real. And it seems like every time that I run Skinny Bob, I get really, really strange takedown requests and stuff. It's like really, really, really weird. But let me show you what an Eben looks like. Now, these Ebens, okay, again, come from a completely different part of the universe than some of these other gray humanoid species. Let me show you an Eben, okay? This is an Eben. This was there was and they also fly craft, and you can see how they look different, right? These two beings, these two humanoids look completely different from each other. Even their hands and fingers length and number of fingers and even toes are different because they don't come from the same place. That is just the simple answer to that. Okay. It's let me relay something I heard. I think it's in I think it's in the Epic of Gilgamesh, or it's in one of those very old written books. I believe it was the Epic of Gilgamesh, but uh, you know, it in this text it talks about how when the Tower of Babel was being built, how the gods got annoyed with the fact that us human beings talk and were thus noisy. Um, and you'll notice that a lot of these humanoid species, they don't even have ears. Neither one of these beings have ears. They relay telepathically. This is I love this shot here because it shows a whole body shot. I believe this Eben was actually um, in the custody of United States authorities. So it wasn't exactly a free being, so to speak. But you can, I mean, there was also, and I know this stuff gets really, really, really crazy. Okay. But there was a meeting between top authorities and a delegation force of Ebens, that literally there's leaked video of these Ebens walking together, like multiple Ebens, okay, walking together during this very highly classified meeting that took place. And remember, Eisenhower, how he disappeared for like 2 nights, 2 days, 2 mysterious days. He supposedly went to get nighttime dental work. It has been widely reported, and this has even come out in leaked government documents, um, in the 80s, the Reagan briefing on humanoid intelligences that are not human. Hold that thought 1 second. I want to find the shot. Hold that thought, y'all. There's one particular shot I'm trying to find really quick that I want y'all to see. I want you all to see the portion or the photo of literally 3 Ebens walking as a group. Okay. They actually, have you ever, I mean, I've talked about even Project Serpo before, right? Would it amaze you or shock you if I told you that 12 Americans went to an entirely different planet named Serpo in the Zeta Reticuli star system? This was all due to like a exchange program that we had with the Ebens. Okay. And so this particular meeting that took place, now this wasn't the one with Eisenhower in regards to this particular photo, and I'll show it to you really quick. This one here. All right. It's titled, and this was leaked by a YouTuber 11 years ago. Very mysterious YouTuber. They leaked 4 videos only. And there was literally diplomatic visits from Ebens to high-ranking government, United States government folks. There was actually a treaty, 2304, that was drawn up with Eisenhower. There was an actual agreement put in place. Listen, and part of this agreement by United States government authorities. What's up with it, DJ? Good to see you. Hey, Gloria. The crazy thing about these insane stories is sometimes, man, the shit that they say, it's like almost like, how could you even make it up? Right? But check this. Just check this really quick. Now, this particular incident in this particular meeting, there was actually a confrontation between the Ebens and the government authorities that were there to represent in that meeting. And it had a lot to do, from my understanding, regarding the cameras and the photos and the videotaping. That the Ebens didn't want to be video filmed. And several government workers died. Couple, actually. But this is the video right here that was leaked, known as the Skinny Bob video. And you can see how this humanoid being looks nothing like this humanoid. It looks nothing like it at all. And why that's so significant is, think about it. You just seen, right? These Ebens, 2 of them together, they look exactly the same, right? Like they were cloned. And apparently they are pretty good at cloning. There's a whole hybrid program. But the agreement, let me finish my thought on that. The agreement was with the understanding that they kidnap humans. They abduct humans. They don't really tell the whole 100% truth on why, but we know there's a hybridization program in which beings have been, cloned using human DNA. But the Ebens look like each other, like exact cookie cutter cutouts of each other. And even these beings look like each other, but the Ebens and these humanoid beings are most definitely not the same. That shit gets confusing, right? Like, for real, Gloria, they come on some knuck if you buck type stuff. Oh, yeah. I just think this is some really, really good footage. I really do. I'm very interested in the taxonomy of these beings, of these creatures, right? How they're made up, how many fingers, exactly that they have. Look how short those fingers are compared to the eben fingers, which are they got a whole extra knuckle piece. They got like what? 4 or 5 knuckles in a finger. I'm interested in things like, does it have a heart? Does it have like organs like us human beings have organs? I would have so many questions about their makeup. Their skin, what is it like? What does it feel like? Because it's, gray and murky. It almost looks like death. and I would just have a lot of questions around the taxonomy of these creatures, really, though. What's a day in their life like? How much more intelligent are they? They say they're hundreds of years ahead of us. Okay. Like, I'd want to know, like, what is the most coolest technology that they have? I would be very interested in the cloaking technology. So would like every other American or every other person in the world. Who doesn't want to be invisible sometimes? And then, the question comes to my mind, like, do these beings, do they believe in God? Like, what is their take on religion and spiritualism? Hey, Timothy, how are you? Good to see you. Shout out to you. It sure looks like E.T. Phone Home, don't it? I wonder if Steven Spielberg got any sort of like inside information on what those beings look like. I think it's pretty amazing. Hold that thought. Shout out to the LeakYou community. Please join us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music.
Please hit the like. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Good. I'm doing fantastic. I cannot complain. I've been fantastic. Been babysitting a lot too. Fall break. Been doing my grandmotherly duties, Yep, the grandmotherly duties. And that's the interesting thing. Like, there's a couple of government leaked docs that do go into the taxonomy of some known beings. And maybe I should revisit that again, Gloria, because that's always, it's just so interesting whenever we actually sit down and look at that, like that Blue Planet PDF file. Yeah, there's some really interesting stuff out there. Really interesting stuff. But anyway, y'all, I'm about to get up out of here. Shout out to everybody that came through. I really do appreciate you. I'm going to go and put my ear to the strizzies. I'm going to sit back and chill, man. I hope y'all have a really fantastic rest of your day, your night, your morning, depending on where you are across the world. Don't forget to check out our podcast, and I'll catch y'all very, very soon, you guys. Until next time.